transitions. Darn. A physical model. This is only a model of transitions. In the world, the physical world, you have lots of transitions happening all the time. You have a system, yes, and it undergoes some kind of a transition from one state to another state through a process of some kind, yes? And there's a couple of constraints that apply. One is the conservation of energy. You know all about this. And the other one is that you don't know maybe so much about is this one, which tells you something about what's called the entropy. Later for that, I mean like in some later course. Anyway, so those two things are important, and that's all summed up by something that we call the free energy. It gives free energy, and it tells you that, yes, there is a potential for there to be a change. You're going from state 1 to state 2, and in some sense, it is downhill, right? It can happen. It's something that has a possibility of happening, okay? But, interestingly enough, most transitions, in fact, virtually all transitions in nature, have a little bit of a characteristic. They have this little thing that keeps them from happening, you see? So this is a little graph here that shows some system in state 1, and this is the same system in state 2, right? But to get from there to there, even though there is a decrease in the free energy, which means it will happen there is the potential for it to happen, it won't happen until you get over a barrier, yeah? And some of these things have names. That little height, the barrier, has its own little free energy change, but it's positive, which means you have to go uphill, yeah? Okay? And that little amount that you have to go up there is called the activation energy, yeah? Free energy, activation energy, and that barrier is called an activation barrier. Good, and that's the deal. Now, a very important thing that makes life possible is that you have ways for the system to get past the barrier, yeah? There are things, situations, conditions that will essentially diminish the size of the barrier, making this transition easier. It will happen faster because you reduced the activation energy, that barrier. Yeah? Okay. Things that do that have a name. They are called catalysts. Every enzyme is a catalyst. Yeah? It allows something to happen. The change going from 1 to 2 is natural, it's downhill, it will happen on its own, but there's just this little thing that prevents it from happening, which is the barrier. This is why they invented boiling chips, yes? Okay, so to keep it from happening, because, you know. So, what does all this have to do with me? I mean you, right? Right. Okay, well, here's the deal. This is your life. All right? Now, because we are very fortunate people here, and so this is our life, right? We are basically going from one state to a state that is better. You know, they say it gets better. The reason why is it really does. It really does get better, you know? This is not downhill. It's climbing down from a mountain where, you know, it's infancy, it's childhood, where things are scary and painful, and you don't know how to deal with uncertainty, and you really don't know. I experience life as coming down to a safer, more stable, sensible place, right? It also fits the model better if we're going downhill. Okay, good. So there you go. So, okay, but there are these barriers. There are these activation barriers that cause the transition sometimes to be painful, difficult, or take a while. Now, let's make one thing very, and these are life transitions. This is time, and those are the various little life transitions. Boing. Okay, clarify something. Transition is not the same thing as change. Yeah? This is change, getting older. There's not much you can do about that, yes? One way or the other. Moving very often is not under your control. Leaving home, it will happen, yes? But the transition we're talking about, getting older, the transition is growing up. You can get older and not grow up. Okay? You can move, but what you really have to do is adapt to your new surroundings. Leaving home, long word, differentiating. That means becoming your own person, right? You can leave home and not really leave home. Okay? Nothing matter with home, but you're your own person. Yeah? Okay, so here's the question then. The question is, who, it's got to be a person, who can act as a catalyst for the transitions in your life? Yeah? Who can act as a catalyst to make those transitions easier, faster, less painful? Yeah? Who? Friends? Maybe. Your friends are teenagers, okay? They have their own issues. They have their own transitions and difficulties, yeah? That's why they invented adults. Adults who love you. Adults who would do anything for you. Who would step in front of a moving train without even thinking about it. Yeah? You have some in your life. You have a bunch of them, actually. So, definitely. Yeah? Definitely. People to help you make these transitions. Other people, counselors, Krissa, Jeremy, your advisor also could be such a person, yeah? Learning specialists, yeah? Right? Who are here. Therapist, they can afford one, yeah? Why not? Yeah, definitely. People who can help you make transitions. Okay, now, authors of great novels? Indeed, for sure, absolutely. Of course. Jane Austen can help you make transitions. Huh? That's why she got paid the big bucks. Yeah. Okay, now, pulling the focus out a little bit, yeah? Societies make transitions. We're really glad we weren't born 1,000 years ago, believe me. And it's not just because the dentistry is more advanced, all right? We're really glad that we don't live then. The whole of society is in a process of getting to a better place. Huh? There's some glitches along the way. The Second World War, and so on. But we're making it, okay, so the question is that who can act as a catalyst for the transitions that we're in right now, transitions where we start to care about the environment instead of using it as a place to dump things, right? We recognize the rights of every person to be a person, yeah? Very important transition that we're making right now is a change in the role of women in society. This is changing radically, and it's an extremely important and positive change, yeah? So now, who can act as a catalyst for the transitions we need to make as a society? Okay? Right? And on the issue of the changing things so that the world is a better place in the dimension of women having a more a greater role in society, an equal role in society, guys, I hate to tell you this, but Don't be part of the barrier, be a catalyst. All right? Okay, good.